story is, of course, on Keystone. After 7 years, the administration has, as expected, decided to drop the application request by TransCanada and others who were behind this, saying that it's not needed and that it would be dangerous to the environment. Many Republican presidential candidates have said that is a huge mistake, among them former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, who joins us now on the phone. Governor, very good to have you, sir.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you very much.
What do you make of, first off, on the Keystone development here? It seems that the administration says with the lower oil prices and with more jobs, particularly good jobs report today, Governor, the rationale for this is just gone. We don't need it. And with our environment a front and center issue, we shouldn't have it. What do you think?
Well, it's not going to change anything about the environment. I guess the president believes that the Canadians are just going to shut down their 50, 60, 70 billion dollar sunk cost development in the tar sands of Alberta, as though that they're not going to export them to Canada. The irony of this is, to China or to Europe. The irony is the carbon footprint will be bigger with the alternatives than what it would have been to integrate this into the Gulf Coast. This will raise prices for America, not lower prices, and it will have a bigger environmental impact, a negative impact. And this is just because this president and many of the people, including Hillary Clinton, who supported this before, or at least gave a signal that she did, have been co-opted by the radical environmental left and lost jobs, lost income, disrespecting our largest trading partner. All of this does not do the country good.
All right, now we're told, Governor, that the president did phone the new Canadian Prime Minister about this. Obviously, the Prime Minister is disappointed. It talked about they still want to move forward on this, but it has frayed relations, especially now with the new government coming in. Now, Prime Minister Trudeau, as you know, Governor, was not as vociferous on this issue as was Stephen Harper, his conservative predecessor, but he still wanted this done. He felt that it had become a too contentious an issue with the administration, but it's still an important issue to the Canadians. Have we done lasting damage, you fear, with our Canadian neighbors?
We're going to have to mend relations with a lot of countries, including Canada, our closest ally, our strongest trading partner. It's hard to imagine how we've disrespected Canada across the board, not just this issue, but many others as well. And this is against our economic interests. This president continues to do things that harms working-class families in this country. This would have been yet another possible place where investment would have taken place to create jobs, long-term jobs, as well as construction jobs. The idea that somehow we don't have pipelines between Canada and the United States already, the idea that we don't spend money on infrastructure to get low-cost natural gas to factories and to homes, I don't get it. I mean, this is part of how our economy grows. 40% of all the economic growth in this country since President Obama's been in office has come from the energy sector, and none of it's because the government has helped out. They've done everything they can to make it harder for investment to take place. It's just all for something that won't achieve the desired environmental result.
Your rival,
politics.
I'm sorry, Governor. Your rival for the nomination, Marco Rubio, said if he became president, the Keystone would be back on day one. The same for you?
I agree. Absolutely.
Okay. Ben Carson is making some news, as I'm sure you're aware, Governor. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. There's a back and forth as to whether he lied about something that's in a number of his books, where he was accepted into West Point on an ROTC scholarship. That turns out maybe not to be the case, and that Politico and others have reported that he admitted that that was not the case. Now he's come back to say, or his campaign staff has, that he never admitted any such thing, that the Politico story is, from Team Carson, an outright lie. If it is true, though, that he fabricated that, do you think he's finished?
Look, I think the life story of Ben Carson is inspirational for all of us, and I believe him to be true. So I'm not going to speculate about this. I admire the guy a lot. And we're going to all be vetted. I feel like I've been thoroughly vetted, to be honest with you. And that's part of the process of running for president. But it ought to be done in an intellectually honest way, in a thoughtful way. And if he says that he didn't do something, then I trust him. I believe him.
But if he did?
I trust him.
So will you be surprised if it turns out this story was true?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised because I just believe he's a person of integrity and I admire him.
And that is one of his key assets, as you know, Governor, that as far as trust is concerned and likability, he scores very high there. And this would be a tremendous blow
for good reason
to his central mantra. So now I'm wondering if it is true, and I know you don't want to speculate, and you're a gentleman about that, but a number of people are saying if it's even remotely true, and there are other things they're going to check and misstatements are going to check, the better part of valor would be for him to step out of the race. What do you think?
I trust him. I believe it. I don't trust Politico. If it's between Politico and Ben Carson, put me on the Ben Carson column, please.
Okay. There's a debate, I understand, coming up in a few days, Governor.
That's what I hear. Where are you going to be, Neil?
I don't know. I think somewhere around Milwaukee. Do you feel the pressure, you've been asked this many times, that you have to be on your A game, that you have to come out like, blazing fire? Do you feel more pressure in this debate than you have in others?
No, I just have to talk about the things that are important for our country to create sustained economic growth and to create a stronger America, and not feel compelled to focus exactly on how the question is asked. No disrespect to the great questions that will be forthcoming. I want to have a conversation with the American people, and that's what I'm going to focus on. I don't feel pressure at all. I feel honored to be on the stage, to be able to express my views about the most extraordinary country on the face of the earth.
Then what did you think of when President Obama said, Governor, that if Republicans have problems with moderators at a debate, then who are they to start talking about dealing with Putin and what have you? I'm paraphrasing, but to say that a lot of you guys, not you specifically, Governor, are acting like babies.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't talking about me, because I don't feel like that the moderators are to be blamed for anything. Look, he's got a failed foreign policy, first and foremost, and he can demonize with the best of them. The most telling thing, Neil, that I've seen in the last month was in the Democratic debate when asked, Hillary Clinton said, who are your enemies? She said, well, of course, the NRA, and I guess if I had to have another one, the Republican Party. I mean, in essence, she's saying half of America's our enemy. And the president is really good at this, too, pushing people down to make himself look better. And the simple facts are that he's getting schooled by Vladimir Putin. It is embarrassing. And he should be embarrassed personally, but more importantly for our country, our national security interests are being imperiled by a president that has no strategy to deal with one of the big national security risks that we face, which is the unraveling of the Middle East and the allowance of Russia to establish a military presence after 40-plus years of not having one. That's what he has to be held to account to.
Governor, you've heard a little bit about your dad in a book that John Meacham is writing, in which he criticizes Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld, and said that they essentially kind of pushed your brother in the wrong direction. I'm kind of oversimplifying it.
Yeah.
How are things back at the home front? What's going on?
Well, there's a wedding the week before Thanksgiving. I'm gonna ask. I think. Look, I know that my dad loves my brother, and my brother adores my dad. And
well, is your brother hurt by what he said? Did he know this was coming?
I didn't know about it, and I don't think he knew. But he's a big boy. Look, everybody.
Well, why do you think your dad said it? Why do you think your dad said it, Governor?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't read the context and how it's said. I don't think anybody has. The book hadn't come out yet.
No, you're right. I'm just going from the quotes.
That's a little dangerous to without reading it. My guess is that he wanted to show his love for his son by saying that whatever mistakes were made, weren't my brother's. The simple fact is, my brother was the president of the United States. He was strong. Whatever happened was under his watch. He accepts responsibility, the good and the bad, and he was an extraordinary commander-in-chief when our country needed it. And I believe Dick Cheney did an extraordinary job as vice president and as secretary of defense when my dad was president. I don't think there's a conflict there at all.
All right, so everyone's all getting along in the Bush.
At least I am. All right. I'm not taking sides. That's for darn sure.
That would be a no-win situation. Governor, thank you very, very much. Very good having you.